This is an Ash White podcast coming to you from the Milne Road Studios, Redwood Park in Adelaide, Australia. Yeah. 3, 2,
1.
Robbo, we're up. How are you?
Good, Ash, man. Yourself?
Not too bad for a Friday. Friday afternoon's the best day of the week, isn't it?
It certainly is. Fridays is the best day.
Welcome to the Milne Road Studio.
Yeah, it take me a fair while to get here, actually. I reckon it was about 30 seconds.
It's not far home. You can do the cross-eyed yum-yum on
That's
the way
exactly,
home.
yep, with that little gap in that gate, we can just stroll home.
What's been going on, Robbo, in the world? You're still in the irrigation world.
Yep, still in the irrigation world.
Where have you been this week? You've been...
Early in the week, I was at Part 25 at Sackers Ovals.
Yes.
Then Tuesday, worked from home. We work from home 3 days a week, which is good. And Wednesday, Thursday was office days. And today to a few sites and back home to finish off the week.
All right, and get ready for the podcast at 4 o'clock.
Well, that's the one. Had a quick shower. Yep.
Well, that's good. That's excellent. Look, you started off really all those years ago working for yourself, didn't you, Robbo?
The early days, I worked for Dolphin at Golden Grove. Got into irrigation up there in the early 90s. And then from there, went to a small irrigation company down at Theberton. No longer there, but they were called Central Irrigation back in the day. No longer around. And then from there, went to work for myself for, a good 10 years or more. And then from there, I went back and got off the tools. Body couldn't handle it anymore. Sore knees and sore shoulders. And, got off the tools and we got into the managing role side of irrigation.
You're supervising these days?
Yeah, manage the irrigation where I work, all the irrigation within the company. So,
what about if we look at the technology? I guess these days they got satellite irrigation.
Yep, correct. Yep. Central control systems that work from your computers, laptops, or phones, iPads, the works.
Where does it sort of go from here? Are you at the pinnacle of technology, or can it go somewhere else again? Like just refined into more?
No, I don't think so. I think that's
sort
the
of
way.
That's
where it is, and that's where it will probably stay. Using your computers and iPads and phones these days is what it is, unless new technology comes out.
And you
never know.
Yeah. It's pretty clever though, isn't it, that you can do it off your phone?
Oh yeah, especially on these big sporting fields and golf courses.
Have you done some big ones, Robbo?
Yeah, done a few. Did a lot of work at Royal Adelaide Golf Course. Did their new system back in the early 2000s. That went for about 6 months, that project, Royal Adelaide. Worked on Kooyonga Golf Course with a guy there that was really good, Stephen Newell. Did a lot of their refurb at their golf course, upgrades to the central control systems. But probably the best one I probably actually did was the last rebuild of Adelaide Oval. That was just a pinnacle of my working career, I think. It was just...
You are our Les Burdett, Robbo.
Yeah, he's a good bloke. But at that stage, when that was done, he wasn't the head groundsman. It's Damien Hoff at that time. That was with the company from Melbourne I did it with. We used to always look after Sackers Ovals with Damien, even when Les was there in the early days. And then they needed someone from Adelaide to help them. So Greg from over in Melbourne, he asked Damien who could he use, and Damien put my name forward. So I went in there and helped build Adelaide Oval.
It's a very prestigious contract, wasn't it? To see what Adelaide Oval used to be like.
Yep.
To where it is today. Like it's if you look at it, Leeds in the UK and all that, it's top shelf, isn't it?
Oh, it's top shelf, without a doubt. Like, we were building the Oval, and the construction of the grandstands was being built at the same time as us on the Oval. So we had full view of the construction of the whole site while we were building the Oval. So we had cranes working over the top of us, bringing big, steel work for the grandstands and everything else that went with it. It was something to see. It was, just a great experience.
Yeah, no, I think it's one of those ones that you're lucky that you got involved. Not luck that it just happened to be there, but the chance of having the ability to say yes to a big contract like that.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, that's like a millennial type
Correct. Yeah.
one, isn't it?
Yep.
That's the big one. That's
Well,
like,
Adelaide Oval probably won't get built again for another. Well, probably won't get built again. It will stay as it is. There's not much more
they'll
work they can do
build
to it.
something closer to it.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Every government that seems to come along wants to try to push
That's-
another
exactly.
stadium somewhere, don't they?
Yep. Yep. Certainly do. So, but that was a good job. You know, you meet a lot of people within that sporting industry that use those grounds as you're building. They come in. I had a good chat to a good hour. Kevin Sheedy came in.
Yeah, wow, that's good.
Yeah, and came over and met me out in the Oval and asked what I was doing and what the process we were at, and had a good chat to him. A good hour or so. He was really good, really nice guy. Yeah, so yeah, that was a thrill having him out there and having a chat to him.
Yeah, that's just one of those big jobs that just come along not very often, and if you're lucky enough to get involved in it, you go, wow, you sort of are remembered for that job.
Yeah, for sure. The boys still at Adelaide Oval still use me now. I once the project had finished, and they had maintenance issues, they'd still get me in there to fix any problems that was to do with irrigation, and still do now. But to me, it was I taught them too well. Because they don't use me as much anymore, and they say that we don't need you anymore. You taught us too well. So, but I still go in there if they have a real bad
credit to you. Too. That's excellent.
Just before the last Test match, they called me up. They had no irrigation to the Oval at all, no sprinklers at all working anywhere, and so I went in there and probably took me 2 days to sort it out to work out what the problem was to start off with, and then it took them. Once we found the problem, they knew how to rectify it, but. Yeah, 2 days, like I said, took me to find the problem, and then it took them 9 days to fix the problem.
Wow.
Yeah, they had to go to every sprinkler and check a connection, wire connections on the sprinklers, and there's 90-odd sprinklers out there. So, yeah, it took me a while to find. We knew where it was. It was in certain areas, but they just had to find it, and it just takes time. It's a process of elimination.
Well, that's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well done, mate. That's certainly a blue ribbon event, that one, and...
And then probably the next oval we built was Karen Rolton Oval, opposite the new Royal Adelaide
Doesn't
Hospital.
that one look beautiful?
Yeah.
With the white picket fence all the way
that's
around?
it. Yep. They were from, that was, I can't remember, I reckon that was 2016, 17, we built that oval, Karen Rolton. That was one of my projects with a company I worked for, not through myself, but I worked for a company. So, that was another oval rebuild from scratch. That's everything from the subgrade right up to building cricket wickets and irrigation and drainage and soil and turf and everything that goes with building an oval.
Well done, mate. It's really humbling to sit here and listen to it because it's. I know. Well, I don't know exactly what's involved in it, but you can see from the ground up, like any big construction site. It's a process from A to Z, and you cross it off as you go through.
Certainly is.
Once again, you sit there as a spectator now and you go, hey, I had a bit to do with this,
And that's the way I look at it sometimes too. I don't say much, but I just sit there. If I go to Adelaide Oval, I might sit there and watch it, and you just reminisce of when you were there building it and look at certain areas on the Oval. Yeah, I remember doing that area, and it is good.
It's a bit like the REM building in town there, on Rundle Mall. The Maya Centre.
Oh, yeah, the Maya Centre, yeah. Yep.
When we did the clock towers up the top, they're all glass. No one would even know they're glass. They were 333 or 33 degrees or whatever to make up the 360. And, that's all glass. Once again, it's one of those blue ribbon ones you just don't. They come along very rarely,
Exactly.
Bit like Normanville, that was another good one that we picked up.
Yeah. Yep. I remember that contract you had down there.
Just try to say yes and go through it and try to do the best you can. But
exactly.
They're big jobs, aren't they?
They're big jobs. But they're good jobs and thoroughly enjoy doing them.
Well done, Robbo. Every time you've done our sprinklers here, and it's wonderful to sit out the back and find a red can to sit out there and enjoy it.
Exactly.
Robbo, the other one I was going to talk to you about was your passion for AFL local.
Yep.
You played
Grassroots footy.
Yeah, absolutely. You've played footy in Adelaide since you're a little boy.
Yep. Oh, when I was 5, I started at Mobbery Football Club. Started off there. Before that, I was at the school up the road, just up the road from where we live, Ridgehaven Primary School. I wanted to play football. They said I was too young, so my dad said, well, he's never going to play school football again. We'll send him down to Mobbery Football Club. And so I ended up down at Mobbery Football Club when I was 5. I think I played through till I was about 25. So I had a shoulder reconstruction. So that I just couldn't afford any more time off of work after having 3 months off. I didn't want to do it again, so finished off and probably didn't do it anymore for another 4 or 5 years until our boys, or the oldest.
What was it? Was it a bursitis or what?
No, just all torn ligament through the rotor cuff.
Yeah, right.
And used to just slip out all the time. When I was playing, I played with it for about 5 years until I couldn't put up with it anymore. And
keep looking back for your arm. And
that's it, exactly. So just one morning woke up and the arm was down the side of the bed and it had slipped out and I couldn't get it back into its socket. So I said to Shez, can you help me get this back in, please? Because I can't get my arm back in. And that's when I said, that's it, time to have the operation.
All right.
So had it operated on.
So they tightened it all up.
Tightened it all up. Yep. Did all the tightened all the ligaments up and. Yeah.
I often say to Mandy that they should have put the anus about an inch higher for us old blokes that struggle to get down to our arseholes.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
So your AFL, you kept playing, or you finished around 25.
Yeah, that's right.
And then did you go into the coaching role? Or?
I went into the coaching role once the eldest, Jake, he started footy when he was 5, but he actually went to Teacher Gully Football Club.
Yep. Good rivalry there.
Yeah, a very good rivalry. But the school he was at, Teacher Gully Primary, all his mates were playing football, or were going to play football there. His cousins.
Daryl Mesner came from that school.
Yeah, Daryl Mesner came from that school, correct.
He was a good footy player.
Yeah, very good, very good. So Jake's mate there and his cousins were playing at Teacher Gully. And at the time, it was a big deal for me because Mobbery, back in those days when we were playing in our mid-20s and whatever, it was a very big rivalry. We hated each other on the field, but we still had beers and mates afterwards. Yeah. So it was hard for me to, once I went there to Teacher Gully, to say, okay, you play where you want to play, which was that I always said that. I think you don't have to play at Mobbery, you can play wherever you want to play. And I went to Teacher Gully and I said, well, yep, that's fine. You want to go there, go there. So it was hard at the time, but I wasn't going to let them, I was never going to say to them, you need to play at Mobbery because that's where I played. I was never like that. They can play wherever they wanted to play. So that's where that came about.
Oh, and that's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah. So I, from there, I think the first year Jake was playing, I reckon it was the second year I got into team managing. So I think it was 5 playing under 6s at that time. And then went in the under 7s and I started team managing. And then from there I went team managing, coaching on junior committees, coaching the juniors. And then went to the boys. And then obviously Liam started as well. He's 4.5 years difference between the two of them. So then I coached Liam's side for a little bit. I actually coached 2 sides. I coached Liam's side 1 year and Jake's side in the same year as well. 2 teams in the 1 year.
Isn't it funny now at 55 as sort of senior men now that where'd you find the time?
Yeah, no, we found it. Yeah, you always do. We've got plenty of time on our hands now. Wish we had that back then.
Yeah, it's a pity the leaves didn't drop as much.
Yeah,
mate.
Exactly.
You'd have a bit more spare time.
Yep.
But
that were good years in the juniors.
It was a way of life and it was fantastic. Well, it still is.
We're still involved at teaching. The boys are playing seniors. I've coached the seniors, been on the senior committee. This year I'm the A-grade team manager up at Teacher Gully. We had good years in the juniors. That was real good. Like Jake played in 6 grand finals, won 5 and lost 1. Like from under 11s through to under 16s. And I had 3 of those years and I was one of the coaches that lost one of the grand finals, but won 2 and lost 1 grand final.
Well, as Mr. Brooks says, part of winning is dealing with losing.
That's right. Exactly.
That's really part of life, isn't it? Mm-hmm. You've really got to go through those processes.
Yep.
But at the same time, when you do get those wins, it's very important to
Oh, yeah.
keep them, and they're forever. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You got that camaraderie with your buddies
Yep.
forever.
Yep, for sure.
Even when you're old blokes together, it's like, remember when back in '63.
Oh, yep, for sure. Yep.
So you would have heard this sound a few times.
Oh, yeah,
wouldn't you?
heard that a few times over the years. Every Saturday and every Sunday.
Oh God.
Um,
Now you are a big Carlton supporter.
No, yeah, I'm a big Carlton supporter, but yeah,
In the AFL, like Big Robbo is.
yeah, like Big Robbo, yeah, and Robbo, well, Jake Robbo, he's more of a die-hard Carlton supporter.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah, he's die-hard. I'm a Carlton supporter, but he's a die-hard Carlton supporter. So, but yes, I am a Carlton supporter. Yep, for sure.
I went to the footy to a Crows game with Big Robbo at Adelaide Oval. And we went across the road after the game, and we sat in there and had a couple of beers. And I said to Robbo, Big Robbo, I said, "You wouldn't believe who's behind you. It sticks." And he's a bit like Jake. He's like full bore.
Yeah, he's full on.
Loves it. And sure enough, you turn around, there's 6'6"
Yeah.
Kernahan standing there, and we had a chat with him. It was fantastic. It sort of made the night out. But everyone's got a team they barrack for, It's
Carlton's good.
Brisbane for me, as you know, the Crows can't put five back to back together.
That's right. Yeah, no, we've had some hard years, old Carlton, over the last, 10, 12 years or more, just with the Carlton issues back in the day with John Elliott and causing issues at the club with money and what they're doing with players. But they're getting better now. They got a good. Vossi's a good coach.
They're looking. Yeah, Vossi's got a good footprint, hasn't he?
Yeah, he had his time before previously. I can't remember where he was at, and he wasn't doing well, and they got rid of him. But he's come back a better coach, as in after doing another few years of assistant coaching.
Even when I coached, is that mine? Is it? Even when I coach baseball, it's Billy. Just let me put him. Hey, Billy, I'm in the middle of a podcast talking to Brett Robbo. I'll give you a call back. See you, bud.
Billy?
He was driving home. Where were we just then?
Carlton with Vossi.
With Vossi. Yeah, Vossi. He when I was coaching baseball, I did the last 2 years in Div 5. And I learnt how much I didn't know when I did that role.
Yep.
To see how far off you were, not only with personalities of people, because that's half of it. It's daycare trying to deal with everybody's their way and what they choose to do. You're trying to collectively put a group of guys on a park and play the best they can to hopefully achieve the ultimate, which is to win the premiership.
Yep.
But boy, there's some hurdles. There's some learning
there's a lot
to
of hurdles.
get there, isn't there?
Oh yeah, for sure. Although my junior days, I had great parents. Like all the kids' parents were just behind me 100%. So I didn't really have an issue with the junior side of it.
Voice,
I probably had more issues with a few of the seniors, not just players. Once you get the seniors, you take to most of them, but there's the odd one or two that probably don't take to you.
There has to be.
Yeah, it's just what it is. It's just life. You can't get on with everyone. I got on with them, but as you do as a coach, you have to. But they just, didn't see eye to eye with a few things.
No,
and
that's right.
And you just handle it the way you can handle it.
Times you got to become them to be on their level.
Yeah, correct, exactly.
And, there is that sort of give and take that you do allow a little bit their way just to keep harmonious, if you like.
Correct.
But
exactly. Yep.
At the end of the day, when the decision comes down and it's your choice, you make that choice.
Yeah, that's right. And I've made some hard choices, probably more in the seniors than the juniors. There was one. I just remember one game in the juniors. We were playing in I think it was a second semi-final to go into the grand final, and the tie we were up against, I think it was under 15s. It was a tough game. And in junior football, you give everyone a go during the year, and you play them in positions, especially when you get a bit older in 14s, 15s, so try and set them in set positions. But when it comes to finals in juniors, and the club's policy is the coach discretion come finals. Like if if a player's not quite up to it, you give him game time, but he might not get as much as what he had during the year. So probably a couple like that in that second semi. It was a close game where we needed to have our best on the field, and a couple of parents, as we were going out at, I think it was 3/4 time, you can hear him heckling in the background.
Boy, hasn't had much time.
Correct. And my runner at the time, Steve Connolly, bless him, he's passed on, but he was very football orientated, very good coach, very structured, and he was the same with me. Give him time, and he just looked at me and looked me straight in the eye, and he said, "Robbo, you do what you got to do. This is finals. Don't listen to him. Do what you got to do." And I was actually going to give these guys a go, and Steve said, "No, we're here to win the game." So that's what I did. I stuck with my structures, and we ended up getting through and getting in the grand final and won that year the grand final.
Well, there you go. It's all justified in the end,
exactly. Yeah. So,
but they're hard at times. They're hard. Sometimes it's very, very heavy on you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It takes you. Sometimes it does, for sure. Yeah, without a doubt. Sometimes you feel bad for the kids, even seniors. You feel bad for them, but you've got to do what's best for the team. It's not an individual sport; it's a team sport.
What about just going back to Carlton? I remember the Bradley days, Bradley from Port.
Yep.
They were great days. I loved Diesel.
Yep.
What was his name?
Diesels? You got me now.
No,
I've got stuck now. Greg Williams.
That's it. I always remembered him as Diesel.
Yep.
And
I went blank.
I sort of used his name for years as my sort of half nickname at work, with Diesel. And,
yep. Well, you got the same structure as Diesel.
And that era of Carlton back then too was pretty cool. And
yeah.
You had some.
One of my favourites back then was probably Fraser Brown. I don't know if you recall him, but he was pretty good.
Well, you look too, like even back, like Peter Motley before his crash.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was very good.
He was coming through. It would have been nice to see where he ended up if he.
Oh yeah, he would have been a star if he didn't have his unfortunate accident. But
I remember a game at Alberton. I went down and saw Sturt play Port with Mandy and her sisters years ago, and Motley was playing against Greg Anderson, and it was the Anderson Motley show. It was so good.
Yeah, 1-on-1 it would have been good.
And you just thought, how good are these guys? Like, they are superb.
Yeah, they're good. And the players, it's a different sort of standard of football, what they play now to what they played back when we were watching in the 80s and early 90s. The standard's just a lot quicker now. It was harder football back in those days. I still think it was harder football.
Yep.
Obviously, rules have changed with head concussions and the way you can tackle and bumping. It was back in the days when we played. That was just part of the game. But obviously, with especially the concussion rule lately over the last few years, I understand it 100%.
Yeah.
But that's our sport. So it is a contact sport, and a lot of the times these players don't mean to do it. It's not like they're going out to hurt someone. It's just, it's a micro of a second that you've got to make a decision. Do I go for that or don't I go for it? And that microsecond can cost you 4 games or get ripped by the coach because you didn't go in hard enough.
Yeah, you're 100%, mate, are you? Hey.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a tough one, especially at the speed the AFL is now.
It's quick.
If you look at the Dermy years where there were grand finals and people were taken out before the ball got bounced.
Yeah, exactly.
That was totally different. As you said, it was a harder game back then.
It was a harder game, yep.
And if you look now, it's an athlete's
Well, you look
game.
at Dermy in that grand final, we played the whole game with broken ribs. I couldn't imagine anyone playing with broken ribs these days for the rest of the game.
Pretty tough back then.
Yep, certainly was.
Pretty tough back then. But that's what made it. That's what.
Sure.
Where it's at now, isn't it?
Yeah.
You still love the game. You get the cricket season where, by the time September, footy's even creeping into October now, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
By the time January, February comes, you're already starting to find an AFL game somewhere.
Yep. I'm ready for the footy now. I'm ready for.
I think Manny's already been to 2 games.
Yeah. I saw her last week. She was going down to just an internal trial game.
Oh my God, she's passionate.
I still prefer my grassroots football to go and watch. I do like watching the AFL, but if I was to I could say, there's an AFL game on, or there's a game down the road on at the local field. I'd go down there and watch the game at the local field. I just find watching grassroots footy is just as good as watching the AFL.
I still like SANFL rules, and I still like SANFL.
Yeah, SANFL is okay. Yeah, for sure.
I still enjoy watching that. I know it's probably just not even half a step. It's just a quarter of a step out. But it's a different way of footy.
That's right. Yeah, SANFL is a different style of footy to the AFL.
Not as exact. Just let it run a bit longer.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. But that's footy. Like my footy. Been involved in footy since I was 5, and I'm 55. I probably had, like I said, you had a 5-year gap from when I had my shoulder done to when Jake started to play football, so about a 5-year gap. Coached. Was assistant coach runner with Ash Mitch.
Yep.
Ash Mitch at Golden Grove Footy Club back in, I can't remember the years they were actually. Would have been the early 2000, I reckon. Oh, no, it would have been a bit later than that, probably about 2005. A mate of mine coached Golden Grove in Div 6 in amateur league footy. He asked me to go up there and be his running assistant coach, which I did. Did a couple of years with him. They took him from Div 6 to Div 5 and then Div 5 to Div 4. So I think I spent 2 years there, and then that was it. I think the boys were more into their footy then, got a bit older. So I went back to Teachy Gully. So that were the good years, yeah.
Well, it's all right. I just had to do a beer run. Just had to.
You need to get the fridge a bit closer.
If it's any closer, mate, it'll be right alongside the bed.
That's right.
You just going away from the footy now. Just in closing with the footy, I used to like the way that Paul Northeast played for Port.
Yeah.
Another hard unit. He was one of those guys that just got in there and scrapped and pushed forward and pushed the ball forward, from the back lines. So.
I was a bit the same. When I went at Delphin up in Golden Grove in the 90s, you had a crew of workers, and in my crew there was 4 of us, and one of those was Wayne Marnie that played at Port Adelaide. And Marnes, he was hard as nails, cracking bloke. We were really good mates up in the years at Delphin for about 7-8 years. He went his way in the end because Golden Grove had almost completely finished. I moved on. We used to keep in contact. I hadn't spoken to him for a lot of years now, but actually I spoke to him 3 years ago. Saw him at footy one day and had a chat to him for a little while. But he was a good player. He was hard as nails. He was.
I love the stories. It's it doesn't matter whether you see him next week. It'd be like it was yesterday anyway.
Exactly. Yep.
That's the joy of sport. I reckon that's the camaraderie that we all
certainly
strive to add to all the time.
Yep.
Milne Road, Robbo. You got here before we did. We were the new neighbours, and you arrived here, I think, somewhere around 2007.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, 2007, 2008, around there. In the January.
Oh, so it might have been 2008 then.
Yeah, it was. I reckon it was 2008. Yeah, in January. So, early January.
Because I think we didn't get here till Mandy's birthday. Was that right?
February?
March 18th or something.
No, it was...
You'd probably know more than me.
No, I remember the day you drove in the driveway with.
Was it February? Was it?
It was Clipsal 500. Because you moved, I think you reversed the trailer in, or something was coming in the driveway, and I said, "G'day, new neighbour," and you said, "Can't talk. I've got to get all this shit off because I'm going to Clipsal 500 with Billy." That was and so it would have been February. Back in those was Clipsal. I think Clipsal was in February. Those
I would say at some stage they were.
We with the kids, they all grew up all the same age. Cato and Reese and Jake and Liam, all this Liam and Reese roughly the same age, and Jake and Caitlin the same age, and they grew up well, and they still see each other. I know your two are overseas, but they're still in contact, and it was good to watch the kids all grow up together.
It's been wonderful here. What about the? That's all right. Somehow I've hit pause on there. I don't know what I've done. I don't know how many minutes I've lost there. I've lost a bit. Anyway, that's what makes it fun when it's live. What about the the Friday afternoons when we used to go and grab a dozen beers and we'd hop in the truck.
Oh, that was when I was working for myself, and if I was quiet, I'd go and help you.
And
Yeah, that's right.
And we'd go around and do the realtor checks of Redwood Park.
Redwood Park, we're commenting on every house, how well they've done, what's their worth, what are they worth, how shit it is, how bad some of the houses were. It was, and we used to drive around for a good hour.
A good hour, I reckon. By the time the truck came in, she was empty. And we'd sort of fixed up everybody's houses.
We fixed up, told them what to do, how to do it.
We knew what the price range was.
That's right.
We'd set our own prices for everybody.
Yeah, no, that was, that's a while ago. That was, remember,
that would be
remember the job we did up at Gamaraka Cemetery. Remember, I can't remember the bloke's name.
Brian,
was it? Remember, Brian used to wave to us.
Yes, sir.
Or we would say good day to Brian, and every morning we'd just have a little video with Brian. We're doing a bit of irrigation and turf in the cemetery up there.
There was a lot of turf up there, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was a new plotted area that was built for new grave sites, and that headstone was the first one in that area of about 300 new headstones. He was the first, and we had to work around him. And we used to say good day to Brian every morning, didn't we?
Unbelievable. There was so much good times with those working.
Oh, yeah.
Working jobs. It was just incredible camaraderie. And
Yep, it certainly was.
That's certainly what makes it fun.
We helped each other. If you needed help, I helped you. And if I needed help, you come and give me help.
Absolutely.
Well,
went both ways, for sure.
Yep. But, they were good. They were good days.
The other one I was going to talk about was Bruce Springsteen. We... as neighbours, we do hear Bruce from time to time.
We do hear Bruce from time to time.
And the beauty of these two blocks, Robbo, is that when someone's got the music on, no one else turns their music on.
Correct.
Because it just...
if you've got yours on, I listen to yours. And if I've got mine on, you listen to mine.
It sifts through. It's beautiful. And my hometown.
Yeah.
You know, you can hear it and it just wafts. So, like, if you've got a function on next door or here, the music just oozes around this.
It does.
It just weeps around, doesn't it?
It oozes over the fence, and you can hear it.
And it's and it's also, if you look at it the other side with Manny working night shift and all the rest of it.
Yep.
You don't really also hear. You know.
No, I can. With our sleeping quarters,
for sure.
The other side of the properties of each, so you don't hear. You know, if one's in bed early, you don't actually hear the other side. But when you're both outside, you're next to each other, and when music, you can hear it.
And it's loud enough, and you can feel it, and you're in the mood.
Exactly. Yeah.
It is excellent fun.
Yeah, the odd time you get the old message from yourself or Mandy and say, don't stop skipping those songs. We want to hear those songs, and you press skip or turn it up a little bit louder. We can't quite hear it, so we turn it up. Good times, and we're still doing it. It's not like we've stopped it.
No, I think there's plenty to come, isn't there?
For sure.
What about travels? Now, you've been to America.
Yep. Went to America.
When was that now? Was that 2017?
I think it was 13 years ago. No, 11 years ago.
Jake went over with
Jake went over there for basketball with the school, Mulberry High School we went. They have a basketball program. Every 2 years, I go to America. They play against other colleges over there. I think he stayed at. It was a while ago, but Estacada. It's called Estacada Country Town in Portland, Oregon.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, in through there. A few other colleges they play, but we actually went there. We went there for 6 weeks, I reckon it was. First week was with Jake's basketball with the school, and we actually stayed with a family in Estacada. A little town. It's a country town, and they were based down in a forest, and the house was built in the forest, and overlooked the kitchen opened up over a river that ran through their property, with squirrels running around. It was like a really nice place. It was Heather and Jerry, and we're still in contact with them, like just every now and then via Facebook or Messenger, whichever one. But they took us in for Cheryl, myself, and Liam for, I think we're there for 5 nights, Like really accommodating American family, just typical. He was a tradie, he was a sparky. She ran her own business. I think it was like advertising of some sort. They just took us around to all the basketball, the city, took us typical sightseeing. So we were there for, like I said, 5, 6 nights. Then we went off to, then Jake, the basketball comp had finished, the school had gone home, but Jake stayed on with us for another 5 weeks. Did the typical Disneyland, stayed in Anaheim for
That's
6,
lovely.
7 nights.
That's good fun.
Did Las Vegas, San Diego, San Francisco. Did them, drove around a bit and flew around in that in the East Coast. East Coast? No, sorry, I get myself confused. In the West Coast. So that's a good trip for 6 weeks, long time. Old Liam didn't used to eat. He was only about 8, I reckon, at the time. He just had cheeseburgers everywhere he went. Not for McDonald's, but anywhere we went, restaurant, whatever, it was just a cheeseburger. And I still remember, I mean, it was in our last couple of days. We were out for tea, and I said, "What do you want?" Cheeseburger, obviously. And he said, I don't think I can stomach another cheeseburger, Dad. He had enough. I reckon he would have had 60 cheeseburgers or more in the time we were there.
Jesus.
Not from Macca's, just from restaurants and from wherever we were. But that was a fun time.
They do eat a lot of burgers in the States.
Oh, yeah, everything's up. See, it's just
big
grease.
Corals everywhere. And
upsize me and just big meals. They just, real big eaters.
It is. It's a great place for the family to go, though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, the kids were young. Well, Liam would have been 8. I think, Liam was 8 and Jake would have been 12, 13. So, that was good time, good age to take him away overseas, especially to America. So,
do you reckon that was back 2012, maybe?
Maybe 11? Maybe 11.
My God,
yeah.
I can't believe it's that.
Liam's 21. Yeah, 21, 22 this year. Yeah. So, he was 8, so probably 13 years ago. Yeah.
Jeez.
So, because we've been here, obviously, 16 years. Yeah, that'd be about right. Yeah. So, Liam was 8 or 9, around that age.
Doesn't seem that long ago to you.
No. It still feels like yesterday we were there.
You think the number plates on your back wall there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, all the memorabilia were brought back with the number plates stuck up on out the back there with the Coke opener, the bottle top opener, and it drops into the tray. That was good. But I almost never got back here in Anaheim. I ran across the road with the boys and Cheryl, and obviously driving on the opposite side of the road, I looked the wrong way first, and without a word of a lie, car would have got within half a metre of me, like on his brake, skidded all the way, and I looked the wrong way. Turned around and saw him, he would have been within a half a metre of me, stopped. But if it was a split second longer, I probably would have been gone, cleaned up.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it, how quick it can go.
Exactly.
But it is difficult when you do rock up to an intersection, especially when there's, say, a crossroad and you're thinking, oh, God, here we go.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got to think in sort of reverse here.
Which one am I going to look first?
Yeah. Whereas in New York, Connecticut, they've only got one light.
Oh, which I haven't been in New York.
Just a red light. So you get there first, you move first.
Oh, okay.
And it's easy. Everyone knows if you get there second, you move second.
Yep.
There's no rules as such. You get there first, you get there fourth, you wait till the fourth comes.
Okay. Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
But that's in the suburbs,
Yes.
Yep. But there's certainly lots of different ways around it. But you got to think. Manny'd always say, "You're drifting. Your left hand's out the window holding the steering wheel, and you're sort of getting closer and closer to the edge of the road, not the inner part of the road. But they certainly speed along over there.
Oh, they speed along, especially the drive from Anaheim to Las Vegas we took. It's just 5-lane highway. And in 5 hours, it was just bumper to bumper traffic. Well, not quite, almost, but once you got halfway, it was spread out a little bit. But majority of it was just cars just flying past each other. We used the carpool lane a fair bit because we had four people in the car. That's what the carpool lane over there is for. If you've got more than 2 in the car, you can use that.
That's right.
Yeah,
the inner one. Yep.
Yep. If you're just on your own, you've got to be in the normal lanes. We used that a fair bit, which was good. But just there's no. I assume there was no speed limit when I was there because everyone was just
going past.
Going past.
I remember when we were going out to, I think it was out to Las Vegas, this bloke's wife had died and he'd wrapped her up in a towel. And he was outside the car with her, just sitting alongside of her on the
Oh, really?
on the ground, all wrapped up, and he was obviously waiting for 911 to rock up
Oh,
and help him. It was very unusual to see.
yeah, that would be, for sure.
A man's got his wife wrapped up
In a towel.
in a towel, dead on the side of the road. God. But no, it's a good place. Good place to get over there and have a look.
Yeah, no, it was good. I love San Francisco.
I think that's.
I don't know what it's like now, but back when we were there, San Francisco was my highlight. It was just such a good city, very nice city. We stayed down on Pier 69, is it, or Pier whatever? Yeah, whatever that pier is. I can't remember. It's a while ago now, but
that was good down there.
Yeah.
And then you had Alcatraz out the back.
yeah,
of
we went out to Alcatraz, did all that, the tour out there, which was good.
Yeah. Had the headphones on.
Had the headphones on. Did walked across the Golden Gate Bridge. Did that. I think we actually did the bikes. Actually, I don't think we walked. You could hire push bikes and go
So you
across there.
rode across that
Yeah,
one.
I reckon we did on push bikes.
Oh, well done.
So, yeah, it was good trip. I'd like to go back again. I'd like to go to New York, but we'll see how things go. New York would be good, but there's a lot of other places we'd like to go to.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I think there's 49 states just on that.
Yes.
North America, isn't there?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
there's plenty to see. I'd still like to get up to Boston. That's one thing I always said that I'd like to do with Caitlin. And I was talking to Daryl Harper and the cricket umpire that stays down across the road from us at West Beach there over Christmas time, and he said he loves that up there because he barracks at Boston, I think, and. They got the big green wall there, and it's just one of those iconic stadiums, see the Red Sox.
Red Sox, yep.
So I'd love to get up there and see a Yankees game against the Red Sox.
Okay.
And go up and watch that. So when we went to Victoria in BC, British Columbia, Marty Hall was there, and he said, "Hey, Ash, I've got some contacts. I'll try to get you somewhere up there. And if I can't get up there, I'll try to get you a seat up in the Boston Red Sox." So that'd be good. Caitlin rang me from up there once, and I teared up. I was at work, and I said, "Give us a call when you're there," And she called me up, and I choked up. I couldn't even talk, and she said, "Are you still there, Dad?" And I'm going, yeah. So she never went in there in the end, which was good because it still leaves the door open.
Yeah, exactly. Correct. Yeah.
To get up there, but she said, "Oh, it's wonderful. It just looks magnificent."
Yeah. But you love your baseball, so.
Sure. Yeah, I'd love to get up there. Love to get up to Boston to see a Yankees game.
Oh yeah. Well, you're into that baseball. I do watch it, but not to the degree that you watch it. Like you've always been involved in baseball. More. Yeah. I watch it every now and then, but I still like watching it, but not obviously to the degree that you take.
161 games a year.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Ridiculous. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But no, it's a good place to visit. That's why I thought I brought it up. You've been there, and I'm
great
sure
place. Great place.
Other places. You off to Sydney soon?
Yeah, off to Sydney in a couple of weeks' time. Just head up there and
have
a
the
bit
Dix
of a break.
Man? Who's
No, just Cheryl and myself. Just head up
all right,
there.
just
you
the
guys,
two of us.
That's
good.
good. Just get away for a few nights, half a dozen nights or something like that, and head up there and restaurants, and we'll go to the footy. I think the Sydney Swans are playing Essendon on the Saturday night. We'll go watch that game, and just sit around Darling Harbour and do some sightseeing. And I haven't been to Sydney since I was 18, since I was legally be able to drink. I reckon I was 18. That's the last time I've been to Sydney. Now I'm 55. So Cheryl's been there plenty of times before, but through work, but I haven't.
If you can go to Balmain, there's the London pub there. You can go on the seawater.
Yep.
So you can get on the ferry and go over to Balmain and just walk up the hill. And Cooper's own the London.
Oh, do they?
London
Okay.
pub there.
Yeah. Well,
and that one's a
keep
beauty.
that in mind.
Billy and Sue put us onto that one, and when we went over and saw Matt and Kerry there, we would go to that one and have a drink there. And Balmain's beautiful. It's a very nice.
Yeah. Well,
place.
like I said, I haven't been there for what's that, 37 years.
Yeah, God, yeah, I'm sure the Skyline's
I've
changed.
been everywhere else, but not the Sydney.
Well, they
for
reckon
that
now.
long.
They reckon the Skyline in Melbourne now has exceeded Sydney.
Oh, has it? Okay.
So there's more higher towers now in
Melbourne than what there are in Sydney.
Yeah, because you look at South Yarra, like the other side of
Yep.
the river.
Yep.
I think they've got 3 buildings now that exceed 80, 90 stories high or 100 stories high.
Yeah. Well, they were building plenty when we were there last, but we haven't been to Melbourne since the COVID because we haven't got back there yet. But usually we go there for a few footy trips. But and they were building some real big ones over on that on the South Yarra.
Big ones.
Apartments, like hotels, hotels or apartments and whatever. But they were massive. They were huge.
And the casino there's still terrific to go there.
Yeah.
It's just like a mile long.
It is. You walk in and you just. When does this ever finish?
Yeah, there's one bar after that. Hey, can you take your cap off, mate?
Yeah. I'll give you a little story about many years ago. I went over to Melbourne with Steve Quinn, who's passed on now, and bless him. But he worked for Reese Plumbing at the time, and they had a work function over at the MCG. Must have been a work forum of some sort, and it was partners. So he actually said, "Oh, I actually went in as his partner into the turn that his wife at the time, Sue, who we're still good friends with, she couldn't go. So I went with Steve, and he had this thing at the casino on a Friday it was, and we were there for the weekend because we went to the Caulfield Cup races on the Saturday. But the Friday, he said, I'll meet you at the casino. That's where all the boys from Reese are going to go afterwards. So we were staying at the Hilton opposite the MCG. And we got there and it was like flew over with Reese with his company, and then we got to the Hilton and it was like 11 o'clock in the morning, and they had this thing from 11:30. So he said we'll meet at the casino later tonight. So all right, so what am I going to do? So I went over and did the MCG tour just to fit in a bit of time, and I thought, oh, it was about 1 o'clock, and I thought, what do I do now? And I thought, I'll walk down to the casino from the MCG. So I walked down to the casino. Probably took me a good hour because I was only young at the time. The boys were around, but my lads, but would have been early 30s. Walked down there, sat in the casino, sat in the punters. Like there's a punters room like for the horses and whatever. So I sat in this bar of my own, and I'm sitting there, had some food and a few beers, and just sitting there watching, just people watching. Anyway, this guy walks up to me, an older guy, would have been in his late 50s. And he said, don't mind sitting next to you? I said, mate, no, I'm here on my own, waiting for a mate to come later in the night. This would have been probably 5, 6 o'clock at night by the time he's come over and spoke to me. I said, yeah, no, sit down. He said, what are you up to? I said, I told him my scenario, like I just said, what's happening. And I said, what are you up to? He said, my wife, she'd love to have a punt on the pokies and whatever else. He said, I'm just here to see my son. I said, and who's that? And he said, Stevie J from Geelong. Stevie Johnson is my lad. So we got, and he sat with me for about, I reckon, easily 2 hours talking about Stevie Johnson at Geelong and where he started in his juniors to where he is in his seniors, and him and his wife come down and watch him. It was outside of footy season, but they were still coming down to spend time with his son. It was just a surreal thing. It was like Stevie J back then was like one of the best players in the AFL at the time. And I literally walked out of there. It would have been after midnight that night with Quinny, and then telling him the story, and he couldn't believe who I was talking to. And then then the next day we went off to the Caulfield Cup for the races, just the two of us. So yeah, just those things, just rock up and start talking to people, and you don't know who they are until they actually tell you what they're about. So yeah, it was a good time.
And I think you also find that most people were just level people, aren't they?
Oh, he was, yeah. Well, he didn't have to say what he was doing, but he just said, my son's Stevie Johnson. And I said, what, as in Geelong, Stevie Johnson? And he said, yeah, exactly, that's who it is. Yeah, and it just went on from there. So, it was good. Good night. So,
yeah, look, I think Melbourne at the moment is, I hadn't been there for a long time either, and we went over and saw Billy Joel December the year before, and we stayed on South Yarra, which was just behind the casino. We were only 2 streets back from there. and to see that concert, to see the skyline in the background, and I'd never been to the G. Mandy had been there for 2004 grand final
Yep.
and 2009, whatever. And I'd never been there, and I rocked up at this place, and I was thinking, Jesus, how big's this joint? You know,
Yep.
it's better
Coliseum.
better looking than the Wacker, but she is a big unit on
It's
the
a big
outside.
unit. Yeah, exactly.
But you know, by the time you got in there, and it was terrific, beautiful. You looked at it, now you know where it is. You know, like you can put it all together.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, it's a good place and a good place to get around. To go and watch the footy.
Melbourne's got everything in the city.
You walk there. You walk there from the South Yarra, from all your restaurants. It's a 25-minute walk. Everyone does it. So it's good in football season, for sure, when you go over there. It's
lots to do. And it looks good. And, like, seriously, I've seen some big cities in the world.
Yep.
And that rate's pretty high. Like, when you land at Tunnel Marine and get on the double-decker to Melbourne.
Yeah.
The skyline is probably only half of Manhattan.
Yes.
But that's Manhattan's long.
It is.
But to see the Melbourne skyline, you've got Melbourne, and then you've got the South Yarra.
Yes.
And even it's spreading even more south. You know, these towers are still going up and up and up.
Yeah, they certainly are.
And it looks fantastic. I think it's wonderful. And
we've been to a lot of the Marvel Stadium, or Eddie had.
Yeah, Manny's been there. I haven't been there either. But,
but footy there, the watch is pretty good. But and so is a G. I had an experience back in 1999 when Carlton played in the grand final. Went over there with my sister's ex-partner, and we got tickets. We were Carlton supporters, but interstate members, so you just really got a standing room only ticket.
Okay.
Because you're a member, you could still get a ticket.
Yep.
And I remember when Peter and myself walked in there, it was standing room only, and we could only see half the oval from this standing room. There was columns and
prepare for landing.
Prepare for landing. I can hear that. So we just sat there and we actually got quite drunk that day because we could only see half. Carlton got smashed in the grand final by North Melbourne, but we just drank all day because we could only see half the over. Couldn't see. You could only watch a half a game. So that were the fun times though back then. But it's still a good place to go. I like Melbourne to visit. Melbourne's good to visit, but
and it's only 50 minutes on the flight. Isn't
yeah, that's right.
It's not a long one to
that's
stress about. Yeah, up and down.
I don't think I could live there. Because when we go and visit, obviously you stay in the city, South Yarra, in the good areas. But if you live there, you're not going to live in South Yarra. So, visiting the city is good.
I went over years ago to help Mr. Whippy's daughter.
Yep.
The orange juice man back here in Adelaide. And his daughter had a 3-story condo near the MCG there. He flew me over to Melbourne to go and see whether we could find some water leaks and... after about a 7-hour water test, we eventually got the substrate wet enough that on the second floor or the first floor, where the bath was, the ceiling would drip and leave a dirty stain mark in the bath. But we had to soak it for 7 hours to get it wet enough. What they'd done was tiled over tiles over tiles.
Okay.
So there was never a waterproofing membrane in there.
Yes.
But it had to get wet. So if it was a real wet year,
yes,
what you'd find is the water would just eventually get through between the window or wherever it was getting through. But until the substrate got wet, it didn't drip. So once it was wet, you'd put one drip in here, you get one drip in the bath.
Yes.
You got 2 drips there, you get two drips in the bath. But it took us all day. Like in the end, I thought, oh God, we're never going to find it.
Yeah.
And then eventually we got it wet enough, and cut a long story short, they ripped out all those extra levels of tiles, took it back to 0, and then
waterproofed
put a membrane in and started again.
Ah, when was that?
Oh, that's going back now a while too. That's probably while I was living here.
Okay. Oh, here.
Yeah, I did his house down at Middleton, so he said, "Oh, can I fly you over to Melbourne and have a look at a place over there?" So Stigma Melbourne had done it, and I went over as an independent and said, "Yeah, I'll come over and have a look."
Oh, there you go.
So he flew me over there and put me up for the night and sent me back home again. put me in the gold class, which is nice.
Why not?
It's funny with airports, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You never know if you don't know. Like, there's
That's
another
right.
level above you. But there's
Exactly.
probably another level above that as well.
Yep.
But if you could fly, not only business class, but if you could fly business class or first class to go on the long haulage, because like
Yes.
anywhere out of Australia, you're sort of 13 to 14 hours.
Yep. Depending on where you're going. Yep. Exactly.
Over the water. So, you know, if you could get rid of 6 hours with the tablet and go to sleep for 6 hours and you've only got a 6-hour flight.
Yep.
You're only flying
three
quarters of the way to Hawaii.
Well, that's what I did. We went to America. I reckon I slept for, it was a 15-hour flight from Sydney to LA. I reckon I slept half of that, which was, unlike me, not a big flyer. Don't mind getting on them, but you got to get on them to get to wherever you're going.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Yeah, I'm not I'm happy to get on them, but I'm not a comfortable flyer. But,
I like the end of the flight. I don't like the seconds because I count 60 seconds a minute.
Yeah, that's
put
right.
That into the hour.
Exactly.
Work out how much longer we've got before we get there. It's
yes.
It's a syndrome.
Yeah.
I think it's part of the Augsburgers that I carry. So
I just like it when the captain says we're descending. And once he says we're descending, I know I'm home and hose almost.
yeah, it's a good feeling.
Yes.
I do like that. Yeah, it's funny on those overnight haulage ones too. You might be in an A380 or a 777 or a 787, whatever. There's towels and there's shit everywhere, just thrown in the aisles.
Yep, everything.
Everyone's picking up their shit in the morning because it's just like Rafferty rules.
Yep.
Once they turn the lights off and, you know, it's the overnight sort of thing. And the A380 was good that they had down the back. They had a galley down the back. So you could go down and get a coffee. You could stand.
Yes.
Because like half a flying I hate is sitting down.
Yeah. Well, when we went to America, I think we went on I think it was a 747.
Yeah, it would have been a jumbo probably back then still.
And then we came home on the Airbus, the
A380.
The A380 on the way home.
So if you were down towards the back, they've got a galley, and then they've got a spiral staircase up the back that takes you up to the next class.
Yeah, where the classy people are.
But you could go down there. You could get a scotch. You could get a Tim Tam. You could get a packet of chicken chips, whatever you wanted down the back. But the beauty was you could stand.
Yeah, and
because it's the fucking sitting down.
Yes, for hours on end.
In that position like that.
Yes.
And we're tradies, so our backs are crap anyway. And you sit there and you go, oh, my God. And I'm an aisle sitter. I don't like to sit in aisle.
In aisle, you like to be on the end of the aisle.
And Mandy likes to be on the window. So more times than not, she'll sit in the middle seat and I'll sit on the aisle.
Yep.
And then, I've worked out how to get rid of the arm. But then you just got to watch for the night movers that come screaming past and rip your fucking arm off. You know, it's pretty...
Well, now recently we've been going away with the Dixes, with Big Chris.
I like Chris Dix. He's a good bloke. UFOs, Chris Dix.
UFOs, exactly. He always gets the emergency, the extra room you get in the emergency.
I'm not surprised.
Because he's so big, he checks in early enough to... So we've been away with him lately, last few years, and I just I'll get in the same seat as him, we get that leg room, and that's what I like. I don't mind using that the exit aisle or the emergency aisle, should I say.
At the end of the day, if you're the man that opens up the door to let people out.
So be it.
It's a pretty good role to have.
Yep. So the big fella, he can't sit in a normal seat. He's got to sit there.
Oh, I feel sorry for tall people. Oh, yeah.
But that's where he sits. He's not a keen flyer either, but that's how it is.
What about Brisbane? You been up to Brisbane in the last few years, or?
Oh no, for a while. No,
you haven't been up there.
Well, we did with Liam when he played cricket. That was probably probably 7 years ago, 6 years ago.
They've done plenty of work in the city CBD as well. So I know that they've put up 3 new towers there, and they've spent $1 billion in there as well. So the cities are
again
like the schools, like even when the ginger girl was in as the Gillard, but the schools did win from probably her being in there.
Yeah, that's right, being a school teacher herself.
And if you look at all the schools now, the schools have got to that different level that
correct.
Instead of being a high school, they're now like they're almost the American grade schools.
Yeah,
now.
they are.
They're a lot better.
Yep.
They all got a gymnasium, or they all got something out of it, didn't they?
They all got something out of it. Yeah.
And these days they're all running off the computer. I don't know if anyone does cursive anymore.
I wouldn't have thought so. No.
But,
no computers around when I went to school, mate.
but you and I aren't using cursive anymore.
No.
You can understand that it does change.
Right. Yeah. Still use shorthand every now and then.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Not.
Yeah.
But they were the days. The old no computers around, mate. When we were at school, it was all paperwork, wasn't it? All paperwork.
Robbo, when Top Gun came out, the very first one,
Yes.
which I believe might have been 1984, 85.
Yeah, that'd be about right.
Paul Bassney and I went in and did a bar course. Right,
Yep.
Might have been even Cocktail. One of the
Cocktail,
movies come out with Brian Brown and that. We went in and did.
Oh, that was probably more Cocktail.
Could have been. Might have been.
With Tom Cruise, yeah.
Might have been even 88.
Yep.
It was around there. Anyway, we had to go into the Adelaide University to do this course. So it was a bar course. So I think it went for 6 weeks or 8 weeks.
Okay, yep.
And we had to go in there every Tuesday night and, learn to be a waiter and
Yes.
and mix your drinks and know all your drinks and all that sort of thing. And on the last night, they get you to mix up whatever you want. You can get on the piss, and it was good fun. So anyway, all those years later, when I was working at the baseball club, I thought, hey, I've got a booze ticket somewhere. I don't need to go and do this.
Like the RSA.
The RSA. I don't need to do the RSA. I got one of these tickets back in 85, 88, whenever it was. So old stupid me rings up the university in Adelaide, and I said, it might be a long shot, but
Is my ticket still valid?
can I get a copy of my ticket? And she said, when were you here? And I said, 85, 86, somewhere around there. She said, we didn't even have computers then.
They wouldn't have.
I
Might have just been coming in.
I've got no idea what you're talking about. No, bad luck. I can't give you a copy of it. I wouldn't even know where to look.
Yeah.
And I thought, you stupid old
Well,
bastard.
these days, you just get an RSA ticket. You just go and do one. I think you just apply for it, or maybe half a day.
You do
thing.
it online.
Yeah, do it online.
It's up there on the wall. But it still took me 4 hours to do it.
To do it. Yeah.
But I think what you learn out of it is if you get in trouble, just ring the local cop.
That's right. That's all you do. Or deal with it yourself.
Doesn't really matter where you go, but no. But there's different. Are you doing a beer run?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Get ready for seating. We're about to descend into Adelaide. Yeah, no, I think it's wonderful, Robbo, that you can go and do these courses quickly, get a certificate over the phone, print it out. It's there all ready for you. It's sort of surreal. It's sort of different to the analogue system that we had. You had to get it posted out there. And there are some good things that technology, I suppose, has given us. I know that Manny wastes far too much time on the phone with paying bills and shit like that. And,
Yeah.
like if you got to talk to somebody, you might as well push out 3 hours.
That's right. Exactly.
So, you might only get 2 things done for the day. And she'll say from time to time, I didn't get much done today, but I got 2 things done.
Yeah.
Well, I get it. I totally get it.
Yes.
It's absolutely hopeless from time to time, but there are some good things out of it as well. You can, with the little T-shirt business here,
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
I can take a photo of a drawing, I can ink it up and put colours on it, and I can get the colour of the shirt and send it to the printer within the hour, and he can have it printed within the day.
Yeah, pick it up the next day.
So, there are big wins with it. And,
Well, we're still tradies.
We still have to adjust. But one day the satellites will crash. There'll be no internet.
That's right.
You'll have-
and
you'll
you and me will be right because we know how to do it
You'll
without
have to
using
change
it.
your fucking
That's right.
change your a washer somewhere, and you'll be able to do it.
That's
So-
right. Exactly.
But no one else will be able to do anything.
Mm-mm.
That's the trouble. If you're not selling phones, then
You're not. Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know where that's going.
yeah. Well, I think they drill your head, put a headpiece in your head, and
Yep.
you become IT. I don't think we'll get there.
No, not at all.
What about you've done the sprinklers in our backyard, Robbo. We've got golf course sprinklers in the back there. We've got you and I did the lawn out there.
Yep.
We had the Jesus bar out the back to level out the clay, and
That's right.
I got sun sick that day. I had
You
one
did.
beer and had to go to bed.
You did.
I think I chucked up all day. That was a big day. You came in and put all the golf course sprinklers in there, and the irrigation box and everything else that runs it all the time, which is fantastic. Thanks for that. There's a couple of little thank yous in here that I've also written up for what you've done around this joint. The other one was when the bags of nutrients, leftover bags of nutrients, come over the fence and say, "Hey, Whitey, can you just remember to chuck this on between 4 o'clock and 6 o'clock on Wednesday night?"
Or on a night when it's going to rain. Get it out before the rain comes.
So it certainly is a pleasure to have you around as the gardener. And I say that in respect. It's been terrific to have you here to fucking help us out with everything green, which is excellent.
That's what we do.
I think that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yep. Being good neighbours.
Good neighbours. Look, I think that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah,
You know,
for sure. Yep.
You're lucky enough that you can talk to your neighbour, let alone.
Oh, exactly. How many people in this world don't talk to their neighbours?
Well, that's right. You look at the kids going on cruises together.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
And they're still, doesn't matter where they are in the world, they can catch up anywhere.
Yep. That's that technology, mate. That technology.
Robbo,
FaceTime is a good thing.
yeah. One thing I was going to say, we've both lost our dads.
Yes.
Over the last decade.
Yep.
One thing I took from my dad, he always said to me, "Ashman, be pretty honest, be pretty fair. You'll get on.
Yep.
Make sure you have a few beers and
That's right.
and take the stress out of your day."
Correct.
Is there anything your dad left you?
Oh, he would have. Yeah, he left me. What when it was the time, he was sick for a few years. But once that came about and he knew it was time to go, I just remember when he was in hospital, palliative care or something, he just said, "Just you're the what the word he actually used was, you're the man of the family now. I'm going. You're the man.
Pass that on. That's cool. That's great.
I'm the man of the family. You are now. Look after your mother and look after your family." So that's what he gave me, his advice and he knew it was time to go. He wouldn't have said that if So we had a good chat one-on-one for probably a good half an hour, or probably more than half an hour, but just sitting in his bed. Mum wasn't there and my sister wasn't there and no one was there, just me and Dad, and we just have a bit of a chat. And
I think it's fantastic. I think it's fantastic to get that time. Once again, it's with the winning and losing thing that one of those things. I did a similar thing with Daryl as well. Was just sit down and just say, "Hey, mate, I'm happy for you to go. You've given us so much.
yes,
You don't need to hang around.
no, that's right.
You're tired and
Yes.
the guy died on the 11th of the 11th at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
I said, "We do remember you, mate."
yeah, exactly. Not a hard one to remember, that one.
But I think it's what I took out of him. He was a very fair bloke, and I think that if you can do that through your life,
Yeah, that's right.
you can lay pretty straight.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, like my dad was the same, a hard worker,
Sure.
like your dad.
Yep.
Worked hard all his life. Was a tradie all his life. So imparted that into me, be a tradie, look after your family, do the right thing. And that's what I've tried to do. So even from the time when my sister passed away back in year 2000,
yes,
things change. I think I was 29. Yeah, I was 29. Tony was 32. Things just change when things like that happen to someone in your, especially your sister who's young,
Sure.
at 32.
sure.
Things in life, well, you look at things differently. That's all I did, was just look at things differently. I thought, look after my family, fuck worrying about money. money's not everything in life. Yes, we need money to live, but
Yeah, that's right.
you need money to live. Yes, without a doubt, we know that. But I just thought, just enjoy life till we look after the family, do what you can for yourself, and try not to worry about too many things in general. But that's the way I've approached it since my sister passed away and since my dad passed away. That's just what it is. Like that's just try to be stress free, mate.
I think that's the key, isn't it? Just take.
It took me a few years to get to that. Doesn't happen overnight. Going stress free, especially with the being tradies and the amount of work you got to try and get done, and clients need work done, and it's going to be finished by this date. But now, over probably the last 6-7 years, it's just been what don't get done today will get done tomorrow, and don't let it get me. But that took me a lot of years to get to that.
Grateful, absolutely. I think there's certainly a journey from it. Even with the passing of Scotty Miller, which has only happened recently,
a month ago,
is that if you try to package it up too soon as well, then you really haven't grasped everything.
Correct.
Just let it take a journey. Let the emotion sort of come through it and try to get through that other side and go on and upwards.
Yeah, that's right.
Once again, it's a battle. You're in the field. You're gonna go again. You're stronger because of those people that have helped you. And
yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%.
And
that's the cycle of life. Like, just everyone. It's gonna happen to everyone, and it just revolves around, and you take on your role until your role's finished, and then the next one will step up and take your role.
I do like that, Robbo. I think that's a great philosophy. They should make a film about that with a lion.
You could,
something.
yeah, exactly. Yep, for sure. But that's it. Mum's going well, so that's the main thing.
That was
family's going well.
I was going to ask
your family's
how
going
your mum's
well.
going.
Yeah. No, she's going well. Yep. So that's how it is. That's life. And we keep going.
Well, that's it. We're 2024 now.
That's right. Yeah.
We're ready to go over the ditch for a couple of weeks. For a couple of weeks, R&R.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, a couple of days time.
Which should be good. It's funny. Mandy got in the other night. She said, "Oh, my back's out," and she went down to see the manipulator last night. She's come out in bruises and can barely walk. So I'm thinking, how's the timing? Here we go again.
Just before you go away.
You got this kid that weighs 45 kilo that's all knotted up, and I'm thinking, oh, God.
Yes. Oh.
But it'll be a good one to go. I haven't seen the South Island, so I'm
you'll be looking forward to that.
Lucky enough for this one. I wasn't booked in on this one. This one's on Mum. So,
that's right. Correct. Yes.
So we'll use those tickets up and
that's it. Yep.
Go and have
a good time.
Bit of fun over the ditch. And I think the Aussie cricketers are over there, aren't they?
They're playing. They've been
Wellington.
Yeah, I think they're in Wellington. I think they're playing now, as in yesterday and today. The old Test match. I think it's day 2. I think the Aussies are doing all right actually. Last time I saw. So you might be able to. Oh, you won't go to cricket. You can go to cricket here. No point going to cricket over there. You can watch cricket anywhere in Adelaide. But you'd have a good time. Be good.
How's Liam's cricket going? Is he doing well?
Yeah, he's doing well. He's captain of the B grade down at Ingle Farm Cricket Club.
How much longer in the season does this one go?
He's got one. He's got tomorrow.
So it's nearly finished.
Next week. So he's got 2 weeks, and then they're in the footy. They've already started footy training, the two of them. But and then trial games in football start 2 weeks tomorrow. So Liam practically finishes cricket, then goes straight into footy.
Do I barrack for Brisbane this year, or do I put my money on the Crows? Brisbane for one more year.
That's a hard one, actually. That's a hard one. I think the Crows actually might do all right this year. They've got a good side.
Well, they still got to win 5 in a row before I take my Brisbane top off. So.
That's right, exactly. But I'd still go Brisbane, but Adelaide will be all right. I assume Carlton might be up there as well, hopefully.
I think the Blues might be up there for
sure.
Maybe.
We'll see where we go. We'll know after about round 6 or 7 where most teams sit.
Well, Robbo, we can go on for hours if you want.
We could.
Thank you so much for...
that's a good chat.
For
love it.
Just just getting a rough spread out of there.
Yeah.
You know, life goes pretty quick, and you
Does.
look at the years we've forgotten about. I didn't even know that your America's trip was that far ago.
Yeah, a long time ago.
It just seems
Long
like
time ago.
yesterday. And
Yep.
I remember when you were gone for that 6 weeks, and I thought, these people ever coming back? You know, like,
Yeah, it was a while. Yeah.
and wonderful to have Cheryl and Mandy, those schoolmates that knew each other from all those years ago. And
well, that's how I met through you.
That's
was
it.
through
back in
Mandy and Cheryl, back
1985,
in the girls.
1984, 80, whenever it was. And
Yep.
God, we're still having a fag every now and then.
That's right.
Back then, it was good,
Correct.
good
Yep.
fun. But
It was. Yeah, the other days.
But just to have the way the kids have gelled together as well, I think that's
That's good. And the girls. Oh,
we were lucky to have that link up. And I tip my hat to the best neighbour I've had. So thanks.
well, it's been 16 years actually, neighbours. So.
Yeah, we'll keep going for a bit longer.
Hopefully we're not going anywhere, and I don't think you are either.
Hopefully there's a bit more controversy to come.
Oh, there will be. It has to be. It has to be.
There's got to be another virus, doesn't there?
No, let's hope not that. I don't want to live at home for another 6 weeks.
Brett, Robbo.
Thanks, Ash, man.
Thanks for your time, and thanks for
all good
telling it here at the Milne Road Studios.
Yeah, no, good chat. Yep, I love it. Yep.
And as I said, I'm better for the experience. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Ash, man. Thanks, mate.
See you, buddy.
See ya.